when you put your foot down, it gives it to you. Ah, I love it. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode. In today's video, we're gonna be working on the Z. Now, I have this cool little thing right here called a sprint booster, and this is the V3. So what this is going to do is it's gonna allow my vehicle to have a bunch of extra features. The main one is the fact that I can make this car that is throttled by wire behave like a car that's throttled by cable. So in my old 240SX, it was an older engine, which means there weren't that many electronics on it. So the cable that was connected to the gas pedal and the throttle body was literally a cable. It was a mechanical device that was connecting both of them together. On newer cars, it's not like that. You have a throttle by wire, which is an electronic pedal and an electronic throttle body. Those are both actuated together and they're all run through the ECU. So you can control how fast that operates by purchasing one of these and by also purchasing a tune for your car. So a tune for this Z is upwards of $1,000. This here is a fraction of that price. So in today's video, I'm gonna be opening this up, showing you guys what's in it and installing this on my Z. Let's begin with the unboxing. So when you open up the box, you'll see the main guide that will help you with setting up your device. This will be useful after it's been installed on your car. Following that comes the installation instructions to help you with the install. Since you'll have this video as a reference, you won't exactly need this. Included in the kit comes a zip tie and some adhesive to mount the remote in your vehicle. After that, we have the remote itself and then the important piece of the puzzle, the sprint booster connector. So these two electrical parts are what we will need to bring to the car for the installation. So everything is going to be done inside the vehicle. Nothing has to be done inside the engine bay. So we're gonna go down into the footwell area of the car and we're gonna work on the connector that's attached to the gas pedal. So first things first, we need to remove the little plastic clip that's covering up the bottom two bolts on the bottom side of the accelerator pedal. So they're both going to be two 10mm bolts. Take each one of them out. Now what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to lift up on the accelerator pedal and disconnect the cable that's underneath it. So if you turn the pedal, you'll be able to see the connector is found right here. So if you push this up and push it in, we'll be able to lift up the connector, slide it off of the pedal, and that new piece that we're going to be putting on the sprint booster goes in between here. So the little sprint booster has a male end and a female end. So we're gonna stick this in the appropriate place. So you can see that it's like that to this, push to click. And then this here goes and attaches on the bottom. And that's pretty much all you have to do. Now you'll note that on here, see the little white connector on top? That is where that secondary input piece goes into. So the little controller that is included in this has that same yellow clip right there. So you just stick that into there, run this wire wherever you'd like, or you can even just set it up and then remove it. That's the cool thing about this little sprint booster. But I'm gonna put this installed on the car and it comes included with a little piece of double-sided tape for the backside, so you can put this wherever you want. I'll probably put this somewhere up on the dash where it's stealthy. But as for the install down here, all we have to do is just put this here, vacuum this little area out if you want, put this all back in, and then we're ready to go. So after you hook up the little remote up to the gas pedal, you're gonna have a couple buttons and a couple lights to play around with. So you have a button here, you have a light with a number on it, you have a little LED, you have the button on the bottom, and then on the side of it, you're gonna have a little, like a little switch here that you can choose between automatic transmission and manual transmission mode. So with it on the bottom position, it's set to automatic. Because I have a manual car, I'm gonna flick it up. So right now it's in a manual mode. Now after that, you can see there's gonna be like a little LED on the bottom corner of the 5 that turns on when you do that. So then that means right now we're in manual mode. Now as for the actual setting this up and how it's gonna make a difference on the car, when you click this main button here, you're gonna see that it's gonna switch between what was green, now red, and nothing. So when it's off like this is on the stock position. So this is gonna feel exactly how the car did before. If you put it to the green position, this is on sport mode, and you can control how aggressive it is by changing between numbers from 1 being the least aggressive, all the way up to number 9, being the most aggressive. If you want it in a position like that, that's gonna affect the throttle by about 30%, you can leave it like that. But I wanna try playing around with the most aggressive setting, which is in race mode. This affects the throttle by 60%. So again, there are different degrees that you can change this to. So I'm gonna just leave this on 5. I'm gonna go to the sport mode, put it on 5, and go from there. If I like how this is, I'm probably gonna leave it the way it is. But I'm gonna try different things, see which one I like, and then get back to you guys on what works best for my car. So my car is a naturally aspirated vehicle that's throttled by wire. We're gonna see what I like.
Now on top of that, this little thing has two different extra features. It has parking mode and valet mode. So when you're in parking mode, you need to put in your little PIN number that you set up so that you can access that pedal and it will work properly. Otherwise, if you have no PIN or you have the wrong PIN, it will not let you drive the car. That is in parking mode. If you put it in valet mode, you can basically do the same thing with the PIN number, but it only allows 55, 65, or 75% throttle cut. So you're basically making it so the car can be driven, but it can't ever be beaten on. So if you're bringing this to a fancy place and they're going to be driving your car, or let's say you're a parent and you're giving your car to your kids, you can control this. And this makes a big difference on, let's call it, safety. Or if you're like me, put it in race mode and send it.
So with the sprint booster in the race setting, I have it set up to 9. Now, this is the most aggressive, most responsive race position that you can get from the sprint booster. Now, if you would just want to just casually drive your car, you can probably put it in the stock position and be perfectly happy. You can then also play around with any of the sport settings. If you just, want to go for a drive on a Sunday and maybe, enjoy it a little bit, put it on a setting like this, mid-range sport mode. Or if you want to drive it like there's no tomorrow, race mode, setting 9. Now, as soon as you're done with this, you can keep this in a car, attach it here, put it wherever you want, but you can also remove this and it will remember the last setting that you were in. So what I'm gonna do once I get home, after I fine tune this and get it how I want, I'm gonna double check, leave this in race number 9, disconnect this part here from the little white connector down at the pedal and be on my ways. At that point, it's gonna stay in that spot, not change. And if I ever wanna put it into either parking or valet mode, I can plug this in and then maybe even put this inside the glove box so that no one will have access to it. But take a look at this difference. Single gear change is so crisp. The throttle response is so much faster, and I've got to say, this is well worth the money. Now what's cool too is that if you have this still connected in the car, you can put this back to stock and you can compare the two. It feels like this doesn't have the same kind of punch as the other version where it was in race mode 9. But if you guys want it left at stock, you can. Or if you guys want to send it, you can again. Okay guys, so a week later, after having the sprint booster installed in the car, what are my thoughts on it? Well, I noticed a big difference after you drive the car and you get the ass end out. It's a lot easier to control the car and modulate the throttle with this super responsiveness. So I've essentially kept it in the race setting number 9 to be as responsive and as touchy as possible. This is going to get you the most responsive setup out of any other kind of setup that you can get with a throttle by wire car. So if you are throttle by cable, there is no lag because you physically have a cable between your foot pedal and the throttle plate. Now with this setup, you can't exactly go that route, but after having this set up in the most aggressive setting, I gotta say, I'm enjoying it. And it's not too harsh like most setups that I've seen before. It's only really affecting the drivability by improving it, and it's not so touchy that you're basically hating your life. It essentially shifts over the curve of the throttle mapping over a little bit, so instead of it having such like a lag between off the pedal and on, that gap, that distance between the two is a lot smaller, and I'm really enjoying it. Would I recommend getting this? Yeah, I would. The tunes that are out there that are about $1,000 and up are not cheap. Now, after you do get, let's say, your tuner, you would still need to send it out to get it tuned professionally. So it is more expensive if you go the tuner route, but there are more features that you get with that than this. This here is a much cheaper and a much different device. So if you want immediate throttle response without breaking the bank, this is by far the way to go. Because right now, I'm in second gear, cruising low RPMs. Without clutch kicking, I can get the wheels to spin. It's sick. It doesn't ease into the power. When you put your foot down, it gives it to you. Ah, I love it. Yeah, I gotta say, it was definitely noticeable putting the little sprint booster inside of there. So be sure that when you guys are doing this, keep in mind that you're replacing or taking apart your gas pedal connection and putting in a different one. So if you didn't plug it in properly, you might get a check engine light. Just make sure your connections are good, and make sure that when you push the gas pedal down or the accelerator pedal, make sure that it's not coming in contact with anything. Make sure it's not gonna actually hit the sprint booster that's still attached to the gas pedal. So if you guys want, you guys can find some more information about this stuff in the description box. I gotta say, this is definitely well worth the money. You can easily change a street or normal driving style to a sport to even a race setup, all with this, and all a matter of a click of a button. It comes with all the hardware and everything you need. The instruction manuals and all that stuff are found inside this kit, along with on their website. I'll have more info down there. So if you guys want to check this stuff out, you guys definitely can. I've got some more stuff coming out for the Z. I've got more stuff coming out for the Mini, and more stuff coming out for all the other cars you guys saw on the channel. So if you guys aren't subscribed, definitely consider doing that. It takes one click, and you get notified of all the cool stuff that's gonna be coming out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Comment section's down there if you have any further questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.